Hello, punters, and welcome back to another Saturday racing preview. Of course, this is the third and final one. Looking at the Randwick meeting tomorrow. Obviously, if you haven't already done so, go and check out my Eagle Farm and Flemington preview videos if you haven't already done so. And if you have done so, appreciate you joining on for this third and final one. I know it's a fairly long time, but I do appreciate you giving your time. So if you've already done so, if you're new here, go and subscribe down below. Obviously, I really appreciate that, and give this video a like and give your comments down below to any feedback or anything that you like tomorrow. So we're going to get straight into it. I'm going to try and get through this one as quickly as possible for you. Still get the in-depth, I guess, analysis and information, but I'm going to try and get through as quick as possible for you guys to not make these three videos as long as what the previous two have been in this third one here. So look at the first race of the card. It's the Castle Vecchio Arrowfield Handicap over 1400 metres, 2-year-old race here. Look at the speed map. I'd say Acrophobic will fly on the top. Achiever will be probably up there as well with Geronimo's, and Piermont might push forward as well here in this race. But look, I've gone with Zoo Mist. I thought its performance last start was really good on the Kembla Grange track. We've seen plenty of 2-year-olds come from Kembla and come to Randwick and Rosehill and take out the 2-year-old races. So I think that's going to continue here. I think this horse, out of obviously being side by Zoo Star, has got a stack of ability, and I was very impressed with its last start performance. And prior to that, finished 5th of September run, who then came out and won a good 2-year-old race at in Queensland a couple of weeks ago. So the form has been good around Zoom Mist. I think he can run well again and win tomorrow at the $5 ahead of Acrophobic, who got plenty of time for, and I did back first up. So this is one of those occasions. But I just think that while it looks to get a good run in the race, just $2.70, I'd rather Zoo missed it at the bigger odds, but Acrophobic's definitely the main danger in for second. In for third, number 3, Yangtze Rapids, who finished third behind Acrophobic and made really good ground on that occasion. Only finished 0.6 of a length off Acrophobic, so I don't think there should be that big of a difference in the market between them. So Yangtze Rapids does have a chance at the $7.50 in for second. And then in for third, I've got number 5, Achiever, who's just getting better and better upon each start. It was a good third last night behind Peltzer, and I think that's the right form. It finished fourth to Acrophobic as well, only 0.8 length off it, so it probably shouldn't be extremely far out in the market either. But I think that Zoomis is the one to beat, and then obviously that Acrophobic form comes into play with Acrophobic in for second. In for third, I've got number 3, Yangtze Rapids, and in for fourth, number 5, with Achiever. Now, California Cyber, I think, can improve coming back onto off a heavy track. Obviously, this is a heavy 8, but and this is where I want you guys down below, so let me know. But at the moment, the conditions are quite good up there, I'm led to believe. So I think that it might dry out into a softer track, and California Cyber could improve coming back onto a softer surface rather than a heavy track at the $13. So we're moving on to race number 2, and it is the Quincy Salter Handicap over 800 metres. Look at the speed map here in this race here. I think that Crown Affair will try and get across on the outside barrier. Ulysses will be up there. Money Magic as well will be relatively prominent in the run there as well. But look, I'm keen to go with a horse here called Secretly, who comes in this second up now. And I thought his first up performance wasn't too bad at Canberra behind Maui Girl. And it did win second up last preparation. I think it can do so here again. It's just paying nice odds of $14. Thought it was well over the odds. So it goes on top for me, ahead of number 13, Live and Loaded, who I have a good opinion of, and I have backed its last 2 starts. And last start was third to Secretly Awesome, which it wasn't too bad a run. It ran at $2.40 on that occasion, but prior to that, its first race start here in Australia, it won brilliantly at Kembla, beating Stolen Jade. Now, Stolen Jade hasn't really gone with it since. Has had a couple of good runs, sort of consistent runs, but hasn't come out and won since. So, but Live and Load, I think, has got a good enough chance here down the bottom of the weights with the well, not down the bottom of the weights, carrying 55, so it's going to be towards the bottom of the weights anyway. So with Brent Avdal in the saddle, then he can run a good race in for second. In for third, number 6, Lando Bay is in great form. Hugh Bowman's in the saddle here. Beat Soul Purpose nicely at Newcastle last start. Prior to that, it was second to Secretly Awesome. So again, similar form lines of Live and Loaded there. So I think Lando Bay can be well in the finish here. Money Magic is probably the other one that I do think has a bit of a chance. He was third last start to Vera on the Kenzo track, and I thought that was a nice run there. And just onto a potentially heavy track for the first time is a little bit of a query. Now, Curvin's Lane run well last start on a heavy track at Canterbury, beating Fast Talking. So I think this horse can run really well as well. I've left out my numbers, but I do think it's got a chance as well. So look, very open race. I have gone with number 7, Secretly, on top for me, ahead of number 13, Live and Loaded, in for second. In for third, number 6, Lando Bay, and in for fourth, number 5, Money Magic. But also, like I said, Kerwin's Lane's the other one who's got a real good chance in that race. Moving on to race number 3 on the program now. It's the highway race over 1100 metres, class 3 handicap. A lot of speed as there usually is in a highway race. I'd say partners will try and get out and find the top. More than a Samba will be up there from inside barrier. Lolly Dolly. Tajuri will probably be up there if it gets a run in the field. Successor will be up towards the pace. Princess Cordelia off parry number 12 probably be there as well. So there's a lot of pace here. And I think it'll set it up nicely for the back markers. And one of those will potentially be Keen Power, who did go sort of about to midfield last start and ran really well. Was only just beaten by Biscara there. I think Keen Power can bounce back and win this time, second up with Hugh Bow in the saddle. With James McDonald in the saddle. I think it'll be really hard to beat. He's in great form, James McDonald, and I think it's the horse to beat in this race. So it goes on top for me, ahead of number 2, Galapagos, who last start was a little bit disappointing at Armadale, but prior to that, it was in good form. Won 2 good races at Tamworth and Scone. It is a horse that is a wet tracker. It's had 5 starts on a soft track for 2 wins and 2 placings. Comes on a heavy for a first time, but I think if it could be up for a good showing, and looks to get a good run off that barrier number 6 there. So I think it can run well enough. So I've got it in for second. In for third, number 1, Cockmatch, who improved last start and ran a nice third, ran home really well behind Biscara, and obviously Keen Power as well. It's a horse that doesn't mind heavy tracks, so that's perhaps to be looked to be its go, and it goes in for second, aim for third. Then in for fourth, number 4, Glamour Cat, who was a bit disappointing first up in that Biscara race, but I think it could bounce back here second up and show a bit more of a improved performance at National Will in the saddle. But look, I think Keen Power is going to be the one to beat. And if a second, I have got number 2, Galapagos. In for third, number 1, Cockmatch. And in for fourth, number 4, Glamour Cat. Now, Shajori's got a good chance if he gets a run. Now, interestingly, it's weird on the tab. It says Louise Day's on the ride for Shajori, but she's obviously on for Galapagos. So, real interested to see what will happen there. If Tajori gets in the field, I think it's got a very good chance of winning. So, it just is that little bit of a career if it gets in or not. But yeah, moving on to race number 4 on the program now. And I, in this race, looking at the speed map for the Schweppes Handicap over 2,040 metres, so it's 2,400 metres, sorry, benchmark 78. Cyber Intervention, and he's run away, will probably push on. Say Elaborate will probably find the top, though, and Rock Dove won't be far behind. Now, look, I actually think Elaborate can win this year. I think if it is able to find the front lead, which I suggest it can do off paper, I think it can improve on its last 2 runs where it's won twice in a row and make it 3 wins in a row. And National Will's in the saddle. His horse has had won on a heavy track before and comes into this now, finally steps up to sort of a bigger distance range. Just has around its last 2 races over 1,800 metres. Has been out to 2,200 before. Hasn't been out to 2,400, but has been around this distance range before. So it's not completely foreign to this horse. And I just think that this field, in a field that lacks a lot of horses that can perform on a real proper heavy track, I think Elaborate could be just a bit of a knockout chance considering it's in form and rock hard fit. So it goes on top for me ahead of number 8, Re-Edit, who was superb last start. Ran home really well at Rose Hill on that occasion behind Costello. That was a very good run. She gets his chance. She hasn't won in a while, and if she's going to win one, this will be the one for her. She hasn't won since April 2019, so last year. So she gets a chance here, but she just about a non-winner, $7 looks a bit short. Number 7, Love Seat, in for third. I've almost given up with her now. She was a good run last time on High Opinion, but again, got a long way back and just came home nicely. And I think that just seems to be her pat now, and does not going to be overly a lot of pace and tempo in this race either. So I don't see how she's going to be able to turn the tables. High Opinion, though, obviously did beat Love Seat quite comprehensively last time out, and I think it can run well here again as well. So they'll go for third and fourth. And look, Humboldt Current does have a chance. It's just not a wet tracker, and that's my only concern. It does have probably the quality on this field, but like I mentioned, just being on a wet track is not necessarily its go. But look, I'm going to go with Elaborate on top. The rock hard fit horse here, I think, can win and is in good form. Ahead of number 8, Re-Edit for second. In for third, number 7, Love Seat. And in for fourth, I've got number 2, High Opinion. Moving on into race number 5 on the program now. It's a 1,200 metre benchmark 78 Calix at Coolmore Australia Handicap. Looking at the speed map for this race here, I'd suggest that Cattersby will probably find the top. Both for Twilight will be up there. Burning Crown will be close enough. Charatira Poetic Charmer, Noble Joey off barrier number 5 probably look to get forward. So I said maybe probably Poetic Charmer and Sheriff will probably look to tuck in from those outside barriers, considering there's all that speed out of those middle barrier stalls there. Look, I think Burning Crown's going to be pretty hard to beat. It's probably one of the best bets of the program, to be honest, as well. It was a good third last time out behind Dirty Work on the Kenzo track. Ran home pretty well there. Dirty Work since come out and franked the form. So form's there. It has had a bit of time off though. Last start was on the 2nd of May, and obviously it's had a bit of actually it has just over a month let up. So this horse comes in this nice and fresh, but is a horse that likes the heavy track, has had one on it before from one start. And I just think that it really matches up nicely to some of these here. So I think it can run well and win this one third up. So it goes on top for me. Head of number 6, Tony's Reward, who returns to the track for Bill and Baker. Nashville Will in the saddle. Real nice price at $10, and it's a horse that I think can perform well first up. It finished second in a recent trial to a horse called Cacique Legend, who obviously, as we know, is a proper group horse, and he goes around later on in the program. So Tony's Reward's got a good chance for me off the back of that trial. I think he'll run a really good race first up here, and at $10 as well over the odds. In for third, number 11, Monte Ditto's in good form and likes a wet track, so I think this horse can run well again into the placing, so it goes in for third. And in for fourth, number 1, Cattersby, who this horse doesn't like a wet track, but is good first up. Has had 4 starts first up for 2 wins and a placing. So this is a horse that could perform well, and the 2 trials leading have been quite sharp, where it's won both of them there. So could be wound up enough to run a bold enough race here. But look, I'm pretty keen on number 5, Burning Crown on top. Ahead of number 6, Tony's Rewarded for second. In for third, number 11, Monte Ditto. And in for fourth, number 1, Cattersby. Moving on into the quaddy leg races, race number 6 on the program. It's a 1200 metre fillies and mares benchmark 78, the Vale Derby McCarthy handicap. And look at the speed map here. I'd suggest be quite a bit of pace and trepidation off barrier number 2 will bounce and get towards the front. Enfleurage out of barrier number 10 will be up there. Miss Scorcher, Spanish Dream usually likes to be quite prominent. I'd suggest that probably some of the outside horses don't mind pressing forward, but I think they'll all drop back, and so I'm looking at Matty Rocks, Wonder Bar, and Voila. I think they'll drop back in the field from there, considering all that pace on the inside of them. It's So Obvious likes to get towards the pace as well. So fair bit of speed in this race here. And I think it'll set up nice for Cigalas here, who was a good second last time out behind, obviously, Masked Crusader. I thought that was a very good effort there. Went to the trials recently on a heavy surface in the Classique Legend trial. Didn't really trial too well, but it didn't really get asked for too much either, so I'm going to forgive that. But on race day, look, she's a horse that gets through all conditions. She was really good last time out. She was unlucky. I don't think she would have beaten Masked Crusader, but she should have definitely finished closest, so I give her a good chance to bounce back and win this race here. Obviously, interestingly, though, Hugh Bowman did ride that last start, and he jumps onto Enfleurage, and that's my second pick here, who finished 6th last time out behind Witherspoon at Randwick on a heavy track. Comes in this second up. I think this also show a bit of improvement, and like I said, there's a bit of a plus there with Bowman jumping off Cigalas and getting onto Enfleurage. That does probably build a little bit more confidence if you like that horse there. So it goes in for second. In for third, I do think that Matty Rocks can run well enough first up if it is able to get into a good enough spot from that wide barrier. Obviously, is quite good fresh, so 3 starts first up for a win and 2 placings. Isn't the best on a sort of rain-affected surface, but this is my only concern, but it is a horse. She has got her fair share of ability on her day, so she thinks she can run well enough here first up. So she goes in for third. In for fourth, number 7, Hilo Better. I think it's well over the odds of the $14. She's definitely a horse that loves the heavy surface and the wet tracks, and she has James McDonald on her back, so $14 about James McDonald. A James McDonald ride's pretty good for me, and it's not just that, but she actually generally has a really good chance in this race, I believe, as well. So she's also got a chance. Look, Wonder Bar does have a good chance. It's a very sticky draw to overcome, but it was very good being Space Boy first up, and then obviously Space Boy then went out and won again. Then he went round as a favourite. I think it was last week or the week before where he ran, and he was beaten on that occasion, but he ran well again. So the form round at Space Boy is good, and obviously Wonder Bar did beat him not long back, so he has had a bit of a freshen up since then as well, has Wonder Bar, so she I think can run pretty well second up here. But look, Cigalas is one for me to beat. Like I said, I am a bit curious at the fact that Bowman's jumped onto Enfleurage, a stablemate, instead. So I do think Enfleurage is got to be the second pick, but I think Cigalas is just worth the each way play at the $6, so it goes on top. Like I said, Enfleurage goes in for second. In for third, I've got number 17, Matty Rocks, and in for fourth, number 7, Hilo Bet. But like I said, Wonder Bar is probably the other one who has a good chance in the race also. Moving on into race number 7 on the program now, and it's the Bob Charlie AO Stakes, so over 1100 metres listed race here. And this is a good race as well. Look at the speed map here. I'd say Jungle Edge will find the top. Passage of Time will be out and up towards the pace as well. Snitz and Adelong will be up there. I'd say Classic Legend. Interesting to see where he lands from that outside barrier, but I think he can be in a prominent enough spot. But look, I think it's hard to go against Classic Legend. I'm going to have him on top. He was just so good in his recent trial. Which obviously Tony's reward to finish second in, like I mentioned earlier. And this is a horse that he does run well first up. He finished second first up last preparation of Pirata by 0.5 a length behind him. Then he finished only under a length behind Brutal. Then he was beaten 2.5 lengths by Yes, obviously in the Everest. And then he came out and he was disappointing behind Colding at Rose Hill there. But look, that was, of course, was in the Golden Eagle. So Classic Legend, look, he's got so much ability. I think he can just win this first up. He's my best bet of the program for me. So he goes on top ahead of Jungle Edge, who, if you want to be playing each way, if Classic Legend is too short for you, he's the one to go with. He loves a wet track. He's had 35 starts on a soft track for 11 wins and 11 placings, and he's had 18 starts on a heavy for 7 wins and 6 placings. And he obviously has run pretty well here in the past. He's had 15 starts to the track for a win and 8 placings. So it's probably more of a place chance. I think Classic Legend has the ability over him, but he will run well, and I think he'll be well in the finish. So it's a very good each way chance at the $8. In for third, I've got number 4, Viridine, who I thought was a good chance here, coming off that last start performance behind Jungle Edge. Comes back to Randwick. Obviously, he runs much better here at Randwick. He's got a good chance as well. Had a good trial, tick over trial as well leading into this. So he goes in for third for me. And in for fourth, I've got number 6, Snitz, who, of course, ran really well last start beating Grey Worm and is in very good form. Comes in this third up and runs on all surfaces, so plenty of ticks there. But this is a good step up in grade and a good test for him. The other horse I like in the race, I care to think, I think it's probably a bit over the odds of the $41. If he could show up and perform to his best abilities, he could run well here. He's only had the one start in a heavy track. He didn't place on that occasion, but so not 100% sure about him coming in first up, but he could run a cheeky race, especially if he runs up close to his best. And number 3, Tactical Advantage, I think has been forgotten about here. I thought he was a long way back and never really came on that last start performance, but they were never able to really do so in that race, so I can forgive that. Prior to that, he was really good beating Villamai at Rose Hill, so I think he can run well here. I think $16 a bit over the odds about him, but look, Classic Legend is the one to beat and probably my best bet of the program as well, so he goes on top ahead of number 2, Jungle Edge, as said, the swimmer. He's got to be in the numbers, so he's in for second. In for third, number 4, Viridine, and in for fourth, number 6, Snitz. Moving on to race number 8 on the program, it is the Drinkwise Mile over the 1600 metres open handicap race here. Look at the speed map for this one. It's just that Man of Peace will probably find the top with Hallelujah Boy might press on. Dr. Drill and Archidemus will be the other speed horse in the race. So not a whole lot of pace in this to be set for some of the back markers. But looking for me, picks in the race. Look, I was looking at Face-Toss, but he's got a tricky barrier, obviously barrier number 1 to overcome, and he's going to be on the inside, and just not 100% sure I can go into him at the $3. So I found a horse at big odds, which is number 8, Hallelujah Boy. Now, this horse loves the wet tracks. At 8 starts and heavy for 3 wins and 3 placings. He first up last preparation on a heavy track over 600 metres. He finished second, a horse called Gulwa, who on his day is a very smart horse, as we know. He's a group performed horse. So I think that type of run could see him run really well here. So he's got to go on top for me. $26 and $6 a place, I think, is a great value. So he is my on top selection ahead of number 7, Face-Toss, who I love him as a horse, and I've been a big follower of his for a long time. But he's going to have to get a long way back and come on into the race. And from barrier number 1, he's probably going to need a little bit of luck. And just think that I'd just rather at the $3 look against him here. Archidemus goes in for third. Obviously, he'll take luck out of the equation. He'll be up there on the pace, and he'll give him something to chase down. And he was pretty good last start behind. He was just over, sort of couldn't quite run down Man of Peace last time out, but it was run well enough, and he's been around the mark, comes in this third up. The step up from the 1400 metres out to the 1600 will be much improved for him, I'd suggest. So he goes in for third. And then in for fourth, I've got to have number 14, Man of Peace, who did win that last start performance that obviously Archidemus was in now. He was really good. Then he battled on strongly last start. He only carried 51. He has carried 52 in this one. He goes around at $13 again, and obviously, he's got a good record at the track, good heavy track form as well. So he's got to be a really good chance here. He goes in for third. And then in for fourth, I've got a horse called number one, Dr. Drill, who obviously will be hoping that it dries out a little bit, but if it does, he's got to be well figured in towards the finish. He's in good form at the moment, so he goes in for fourth. Recap the numbers for me. I'm keen on number 8, Hallelujah Boy, on top. Head of number 7, Face Loss in for second. In for third, number 14, Man of Peace. And then in for fourth, I've got number 1, Dr. Drill. Now, looking at my best bets of the program, one last race, my mistake. I've got race number 9. It's a 600-metre benchmark, 78 tab handicap. And look at the speed map for this one here. Looks to be a lot of pace. The Sultan Bathory will find the top without a doubt, more than likely. It's a Lily will be up there. Regal Stage will be up towards the pace, as will Dylan's Romance. So I think they're probably the speed factors in the race here. Look, I was pretty keen on Opacity, and I'm still with him. I still think that he can win this race here from that wide barrier, just because there's a lot of speed drawn sort of just in close to him. So he should be able to roll into a decent spot and be able to peel off the hot tempo and reel him in. He's obviously a good winner. He's had 6 starts, 4 wins and a placing. So he's a talented horse. I know that John O'Shea is prepping him for a spring campaign, especially if he wins this race. So he's got to win this race to go towards that type of level. But I think he can do it, and he's going to be on top for me. Ahead of number 9, It's Lily, who's will be up towards the pace, and she obviously does love a heavy track and a wet track in general. She's had 3 starts on a soft track for 2 wins and a placing, and 2 starts on a heavy for a win and a placing. And she was very good finishing third in that Spirit Ridge race last start on a soft track on the Kensington track there. And I think can improve coming to this third up. So she's the big danger. She goes in for second. In the third, number 12, Regal Stage, who's in terrific form for the Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott stable, and as much the stable is in form as well. This is a horse that finished second last time out in the Goulburn in a Goulburn Open race. Prior to that, finished second. Was just narrowly beaten by Muba Ritz. It carried 61 kilos on that occasion. Now, it does get a good weight relief here, so it goes from sort of 61 and 59.5 kilos where it's been carrying. It hasn't carried anything less than 59 throughout this whole preparation. Now it comes down to 56.5. But then you got Louise Day on board, who brings off an extra 3 kilos, so down to 53.5. I think this horse got a very good chance to run a good race here at the $6.50. I think it'll be right in it for a long way from home, and could definitely be a chance of winning this race. So it goes in for third, and then in for fourth, I've got number 7, Come Along, who finished third behind Opacity in that last start performance, so got to give it a good chance as well at the $12. But recap the numbers for me. Just really quick. The other one that I do think is probably a bit overs in the market is Guys, who finished fourth in that Spirit Ridge race that It's Lily came out of. And again, it's a really good wet track performer. So Guys has been over the odds as well. And obviously the veteran wet tracker Palathronius, obviously he gets onto a heavy surface here, and he wouldn't surprise me if he bounces out and causes a big ball over. But so really good race here, but I'm going to go with Opacity. Just think it's got a lot of upside and can win this race. Has to carry the weight, which is my only concern. But the fact that there's should be hopefully a decent enough tempo, and he'll be able to roll into it and reel him off and finish over the top of him. But he goes on top ahead of number 9, It's Lily, who's a big danger in for second. And then Regal Stage, the other one in for third at number 12 at the $6.50. I think they're the 3 main chances in the race, and the market suggests very similar as well. And number 7, Come Along, goes in for fourth in the final race of the card. Now, finally, I can get into my best bets of the program, and I'm going to be looking at race number 7, and it's going to be number 1, Classique Legend at the $2.60. I just think this is a prime race for him to beat. He can beat these at even if he's not quite at his best. I still think he'll be winning this race. So he goes on top. Race number 7, number 1, Classique Legend, is one of my best bets of the program. And the other one, obviously, like I did mention earlier on in the video, does come quite early in the program. It comes in race number 4. Race number 4. No, race number 5, sorry, it comes in. So in race number 5, I'm pretty keen on number 5, Burning Crown, as my other best bet now. My best value sort of each way bets of the program. Look, I'm probably looking into race number 8, and I do think that I think Hallelujah Boy's massive overs. So Hallelujah Boy is going to be one of my best bets of the program at $26. So it's race number 8. and it's number 8, Hallelujah Boy, at the $26. One of my best value each way bets of the program. I think it's going to be quite a nice one. And the other one who I think is a little bit shorter than that, but a good each way player is in race number 6, and it's number 1, Segal, is at the $6. So thanks for tuning into the video once again. And obviously, if you haven't already done so, go and check out the Stradbroke preview, obviously at Eagle Farm. That's in my first video. And then the Flemington preview, if you're having a look there tomorrow as well, go and check that one out. Check me out on social media, CLA_racing tips on Instagram and CLN Racing Tips on Facebook. Like I said, subscribe if you're new. Give us a like and comment your thoughts down below about tomorrow. I look forward to the discussion later on this evening with all of you. So good luck if you're playing tomorrow. Enjoy the fantastic races, and hopefully you've enjoyed this video.